Good morning everybody, welcome back to Cilinix Crypto and welcome to this new video on Blur. Wanted to cover it, haven't covered it in quite some time. We'll take a look at the fundamentals of Blur, see how it's doing as an NFT marketplace. But we'll mainly focus on the technicals. I mean, Blur has been, hasn't been necessarily that bearish, but I mean, once we drop down to 75 cents, we just consolidated on top of that between 75 and 90 cents, and we did kind of lose the momentum that we had. And before that, I mean, Blur was very bullish during certain times in February. And we lost that bullish momentum, so I just wanted to talk about whether we can get that back and kind of just what to expect. And we'll take a look at the technicals, of course. But before we get into that, I do want to say, if you want to receive daily trading signals, check out the links in either the pinned comment or the description. There you'll find instructions on how to join, and also some results if you want to see that kind of stuff. All right, so to get into Blur. So first of all, to start off with some fundamentals on Blur, I think that's important. It's always important and almost necessary to know how a platform is doing. Right now, Blur, even though it has lost kind of its hype around the project, volume is still very high. And even from this Saturday to Sunday, when usually the volume drops, volume has actually stabilized and even gone up a little bit. But compared to the market cap, it's very high. And there are a lot of things you can do with this volume in terms of price movements. In terms of the NFT market, Blur has been doing amazing. I think in terms of number of trades, Blur has actually gone down a little bit. I'm not too sure about that, but that's just, if I remember correctly, that's how it is. So perhaps we've dropped down a little bit, but in terms of volume, I mean, it's still so much. $405 million in volume. It's just enormous. And even in trader counts, I mean, it's not as much as OpenSea, but we're getting very close there, right? So in terms of the NFT marketplace, it's been ever since the launch of the token, it's proven to be a great thing, right? And even in terms of total volume in NFTs, it has grown a lot by Blur as well. So it's great for the NFT market, I think, and Blur especially is as well great. I mean, of course, I mean, it's a little bit. First of all, I always thought that Blur always was just a very small NFT marketplace. As you can see, that's definitely not the case. Volume has been higher than OpenSea for a while, but proportionally, it's grown massively, right? So fundamentally, I'd say Blur is still quite bullish. The fundamentals in the market, though, surrounding Blur are not that bullish. And apart from that, perhaps we are also a little bit overvalued after the token generation. So right now, what we did is that Friday night, when we had that small little crash, just a little bit of a bearish breakout, at least for Blur, we gave up 75 cents, which is a shame because 75 cents was a strong support level. But now we have actually become a little bit more bearish because of that. And in general, I mean, you can also see that we have been in a downtrend ever since that top, the 19th of February. So the big question is when can we kind of break above that? And it's hard to say, to be honest, but for now, I actually do think, and this is perhaps a little bit of a hot take, but I do think that the market will stabilize a little bit. And with that, I think Blur has a very good chance of breaking above 75 cents again, after which we could just stay in this consolidation between 85 and 75 cents. I think at this point of time, this is the most likely scenario. Looking at the entire, looking at everything around Blur, this looks like the most likely scenario. Now, I have to be honest, I mean, we'll just follow Bitcoin quite a bit, I think. Bitcoin needs to stabilize. If Bitcoin keeps dropping, if Bitcoin drops down to 22,000, for example, and even lower than that, then unfortunately, I think Blur is just going to stay on top of where we are right now, around 68 cents. And after that, even drop down to 60 cents. So it does depend largely on the market, I think. So keep an eye out on that as well. But for now, I'd say it's a little bit more likely that we'll stabilize and recover a little bit with Blur than that it is likely that we'll drop down lower towards 60 cents. But all right, I'll monitor it. I'll keep you updated on it, of course. But for now, this is my take on Blur. So thank you for watching. Take care and bye.